when times got hard. So I was able to counteract that because I studied myself. I was the lab rat, and like I always tell people, a lot of people realize, okay, you died, we cut you open, you had a massive heart attack. Autopsy. Autopsy confirms you had a massive heart attack. You have to be willing to cut yourself open while you're alive, to do a lot of autopsies, see why the fuck am I dying while I'm still breathing.
You have to be able to bleed and be in pain, because pain is temporary, but people quit too early, which is why they never truly make it, correct?
That is exactly it. You have to push yourself to the point. It's all relative. I'm not saying go out and run 300 miles, do some of the shit I did. It's all relative. Use what I'm saying to apply it to your life. You have to get yourself to the point in your life where you are not happy. And I mean that by like, you're very uncomfortable. And then that is when it starts. That is when everything starts, is when you're very uncomfortable in life and you're pushing up against what you think your ceiling is, but your ceiling's way the fuck up here. That's what people don't understand. You're pushing up against this thing right here, you're pushing up, but your ceiling's fucking here. And I know that for a fact. Why does a 300-pound man become warrior today? I was pushing up against this ceiling because pain, discomfort, doubt, fear, mostly fear of, oh my God, if I don't make it, I gotta tell this person, that person, this person, that person.
That makes society that brings that hand back down.
Brings it down.
That brings it down.
And it's the governor. It is a fucking governor.
And people settle.
They settle right here in this governor that we put in our own minds, and this is it. When your real governor is here. But you are the factory. You have to learn to reprogram your mind and take that governor off.
What's something you say to yourself that I can get everybody to repeat 3 times so that they're always going to remember when things are not going the way they are? Not once they get 52 good days of the year, we're going to be a millionaire. Most days are not. There's problems, issues, pain, setbacks, personal issues. But I think at the end of the day, people are just so easy to quit. It's so much more easier to quit than it is just to persevere. Right. And I think people sometimes, there's that level. What do you say to yourself that we can now take, me, you, and everybody here, a saying that we say to ourselves to remind us?
That's the point. I can give you something right now. I had to work for that saying.
So you're saying posting pictures of being a lion on social media don't make a difference?
And you're a fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? So when I was a fat motherfucker, right, just like that, hopping my ground, but you're lying. No, you're a fucking little bitch ass rapper. So that's the thing about, like, people want me to give them this magic. They want a magic potion. They want a magic potion. Give me 3 things to say, and I'm gonna fucking become you. No. You have to take your ass in the dungeon. You gotta study yourself, study your weaknesses. Like me, I tried so hard to sit there in the mirror at 300 pounds and be like, I'm gonna be a Navy SEAL. Well, no, motherfucker, your black ass has to go run. Your black ass has to go swim. Your black ass has to eat right. You have to start. It was a long list of shit I had to do. So I said, fuck this mirror, I gotta get to work. But when all the work was done, I came up with one line. And it may not be the truth, and I don't care if it's the truth. I believed it. And once you are able to talk to yourself in the way that you believe it, you become very powerful. And what I came up with was, my first motto was, I'm the weakest motherfucker that God ever created. That was my first motto. That I walked around with for 24 years. And I became that. I became the guy that sprayed for cockroaches for $1,000 a month and ate every fattening food on the planet. I would drive home from work and stop at McDonald's because they had the best shake. They had the best fries. I'd go to Wendy's. They had the best burger. Over next here was KFC. They had the best, fried chicken shit. I went to the best. That was me. I was the weakest motherfucker in the world. But after I went through that funnel of shit, I came out the other side and I said, I'm the baddest motherfucker God ever created. And that's how quickly that changed by putting in the work. Like, believing in yourself is one thing. Your parents say, believe in yourself, man. Believe in yourself. It means a lot to have that from your parents or your friends. But if you don't put something substantial with that belief, you're just blowing smoke up your ass.
So that's the first turning point. You become a Navy SEAL. And then what do you think after you left the Navy SEAL that becomes the second turning point of your life? Like, the first point is, I now believe myself, I'm going to change, I'm in a dungeon. Now you come up, lean fighting American machine.
Right.
And so now there's life after the military, which you know, a lot of people that are used to that structure, they're used to that regiment, they leave the military and there's nobody telling them what to do. We see the same thing with athletes as well. They don't have that regimen and they fall into sort of a pit because there's no structure in their life. How did you leave? What happens then? And what was that turning point that led us to eventually where we are?
Well, I was able to. So when I became a SEAL, finally after a long time, long journey, I was able to pull myself back and look at everybody. And so for me, I was able to look at all the special operators because I worshiped them growing up. I worshiped them all. And what I saw was once I was getting close to getting that nice big trident on my chest, becoming a SEAL, I got that trident and I looked around and I got the SEAL teams. And what I started seeing was a bunch of people who were amazing men. And they earned this gaudy ass trident. It's massive. It's the gaudiest thing in the world. It's like zero humility on that thing. So you put it on, and what they do in buds is they almost make you the opposite of what they're trying to make you. And what that means, what I'm trying to say is, they freeze you to death to where when you graduate, you don't want to get cold anymore. That's your job. They beat you so bad that you don't want to do a hard workout anymore, so you want to get all big. You don't want to stay lean and thick. Because why? They kind of give you a PTSD because they kick the living shit out of you. So instead of you graduating and being like, all right, man, I can go to the next level, you graduate and it's like, okay, man, I don't want to do that shit. I started seeing that mentality a lot. So for me, it was like, okay, these are all uncommon men. But now I'm amongst the uncommon men. We're all common, because we're all Navy SEALs. I then said to myself, I want to come out of this. I want to be a different mentality. I want to set a different standard. I want to be uncommon amongst the uncommon. And that's where that stopped, or that's where it started. And once I created that mentality, once you create that mentality that in whatever room you're in, you want to be the best in that room, it just continues on the rest of your life. So wherever I am,
What did you want to do after? What was your initial thought? Obviously, you're probably are you doing what you thought you would be doing?
No,
you thought you'd be New Zealand?
No, you don't wake up where I came from, abused and beat and shattered, and literally the most pathetic kid that ever came. That's how I thought about myself.
Did you ever feel sorry about yourself?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever think about ending it?
No.
Never.
Never. That never came to mind. I
So
always
when
thought.
they have mental health issues, do you think that's a weakness and something society, because it wasn't really predominant, it was 15 years ago when I started, it was like, you're weak. But now obviously people have issues, so where is that balance where you need to be tough and suck it up versus, oh, it's not your fault? Where's that balance?
All I can tell you is, I don't know where that balance is. When your brain gets to a point where you cannot absorb any more pressure, you need to get help. But for me, in the back of my mind, I always knew if I were to end it, that's the ultimate in giving up. I just fucking lost. I completely lost the war against David Goggins. And that's what it was. It's a war against yourself. And when you get to that point where you no longer want to fight that war and you're in your life, you just completely gave up on yourself. And I was never willing to go that far.
It's funny, I have a book come out 2 weeks that's called Business is War, and it's you versus you. And people think they're competing against the economy, the markets, the competitor, but you're really competing against yourself. When you look in the mirror, right, it's you versus you. You are your greatest asset or your worst enemy. What was your greatest asset, but also what was holding you back? Even when you became the man you became in the military, Navy SEAL, did you still have weaknesses? Did you still have, or once you were done that training, you were like, I'm Superman?
No, not at all. It's not permanent. You live with one thing. What hurts most people in this world is their daily conversation. Their daily conversation. They wake up with it, they walk around with it, they act on it, they go to bed with it, and that becomes their daily life. Once you change that conversation, the most important conversation is one you have with yourself. Once you're willing to change that conversation, everything changes. So for me, you walk around with poopy pants, kicking rocks, like the world's against me, woe is me, there's no way you're gonna get out of that. Like I saw a whole bunch of guys going through training. I've been in almost every training on the man. Once a person, no matter how tough you are, once they get inside their head, it's done. Unless they get inside their head,
they create that fear.
Once they create that fear,
it's like a cancer of the mind.
That doubt, once it creeps in, because one thing about training, they always have one thing you're not good at. So they always find that one thing that the stud is not good at. So the stud goes for, let's say, a 4-mile time run. He comes in the middle of the pack. He's usually first place in everything he does. Doubt creeps in, not good enough. And once that little bitty doubt creeps in, it takes 1 second for you done all this work. 1 second of doubt creates you ringing that bell. And I realize that. That's why for me, anytime I feel that doubt creeping in, I recognize it, I realize it, and I check it right the fuck in.
All right, let's say people have doubt that's already crept in. There's fear, it's already in there. Some people just learn, I'm not going to let it in. What happens if it's in? How do they get that thing out? How do they carve that thing out and just throw it away? And get out of here and kick some ass.
We're going to always go back to this circle for almost every single answer. If you have not put the work in, and you're telling yourself, I'm better than this, you will get to a point where you fight hard enough to maybe get a little bit further, but then the truth sets in. We're not prepared for this shit. So no matter what you say to yourself or what you do, you formulate the truth by the work you put into yourself. Why I come up here? I was a stuttering motherfucker, man. Stuttered my ass off. I couldn't come up. I stuttered in front of 20 people at a damn Christmas play and walked off stage. Just couldn't get the fucking word. I said, fuck this, I'm out. Just walked off. So, but now, when I come up on stage, I don't care if you like me, I don't care if you like my cussing, I don't care if you like how I look. I do not care because I know the unseen work that you have to do to then translate that unseen work to the truth of the conversation when times get hard. It's not just a process of what do you say to yourself. No. The unseen work for 20-some, 30-some years then translates because we all have bad days. Our bad days suck. And then we all think we forget our resume in those bad days. But if you put the work in, boom, resume comes right back up. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm good to go.
Why is there so much negativity? Why are there so many people telling other people they can't do it, it's not going to work, it's a scam, you're going to fail? Yep. Is it jealousy? Is it because they can't do it themselves so they want to tell you can't do it? Is it because deep down they're afraid that if you want to be successful, they're going to be left out? Or is it just because they're just mean-spirited people and they want to bring you out? Because misery loves company. If you're miserable and they're miserable, it can be misery happily together. So what is it that has so much negativity in this world?
Exactly what you said, man. Misery loves company. Like, I do not want to see you succeed. Why? It makes me feel better because I'm a fucking loser. Think about it, man. I mean, I know I studied myself. When I was big and fat and a loser, when I was small and fat or small and a loser, when I was a loser, period, that mindset. When you're a loser's mindset, you know because you wish poorly on other people. Once you become successful, you want to pick the whole 4,000 of you all up and say, be better than me. You want, there's pie for everybody. There's pie for everybody. Grandma made a bunch of fucking Thanksgiving pie. But the thing about it though, when you're a selfish piece of shit and you know it, you hate on everybody. Because you know I'm nobody, so I hope to God you don't put your success in my face to make me feel worse about myself. Why am I telling you that? That was me.
Is it because they don't love themselves? Did you never not love yourself?
Oh God, yes. Oh yes. There's times I wake up now, for some reason it creeps in. The past, oh God, it's not permanent.
So it's normal to creep in.
Yes, I'm a normal dude. Yes. We are not superhumans. People who come on here and lie to you about this and that, even the greatest of the greats wake up and say, I'm not that great. But what happens is they check themselves along the way and they go back to the gym, back to the grind, because they know what they're saying is a weak moment And they have to fight that weak moment. And that's the difference between what greatness does. They have those weak moments, but they know, I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm just having a weak moment. People who aren't there, they just live it. And they die in it. And that becomes who they are for the rest of their lives.
So you leave the military. What was your initial plan? What happened?
So I left the military and I became a wildland firefighter. And that was I was gonna get out. And I think I was gonna make about $50,000 a year off retirement. I did 21 years. And my big plan was to go pretty much dig ditches out in the forest. And I was gonna make some money. I wanted to retire my mom. My mom was getting old. I saw her go through hell. So my only goal in life was to honestly retire my mother. My dad beat the shit out of her. I saw her go through things a person shouldn't go through. So I was like, you know what, man? I can give her my $50,000 a year for the military, and I'll work as a wildland firefighter, and I can get her from her job. That was it.
And you happy?
I was fucking happy as shit. So when it came time, people started hearing me speak. They're like, hey man, why don't you write a book? I'm like, write a book about what? Like, you know, I didn't do shit. Because when you do it, you don't look at it as like, you know, I didn't set up 20. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck to read about my black ass doing some stupid ass shit? You know, I'm not gonna read this shit.
I can't say black ass because it's racist.
No, you can't say that's what I'm saying. You know, wait for you to say that in a whole different fucking conversation. So, but that's the thing about it, man. So that happened, and it was crazy because as I started writing the book, people wanted to buy it.
Was it like more like therapy as well? They're trying to think what's inside your mind, or was it like because listen, no one knew they were going to read it.
Right.
Right.
100%.
No one knew who you were.
Nope.
Not branded.
Nope.
You know, like
Still not branded.
What were you talking about?
I still don't have any. I have no sponsorship deals. People know me, but I'm not sponsored. It's just David Goggins, authentic me. I want nobody fucking taking my voice from me. So it's just me who it is. And that was the problem when I was writing the book. Thank you. So when I was writing the book, a bunch of people who wanted it were like, hey man, we should change this and we should change that. But I made $12,000 this year, and they offered me $300,000. So I'm still thinking, man, $300,000
For the book publishing.
Yeah, for publishing
That
that
way,
way.
was that the original title, the original picture? Because it's very.
No, everything's different.
Yeah,
The audio
what was
book.
yours?
So what's out there now is mine.
Oh, okay.
So I self-published.
Oh.
So what happened was that's what I'm getting to. What happened was they wanted $300,000. They were like, hey, it's the big offer, one of the biggest offers you ever get from a first-time self-publisher. $300,000 means a lot. But what happens, I went out for a run, and whenever I go out for a run, what happens is I'm not just running, I'm going back in time. And what happens when you sign that deal, so I said yes to the deal by signing the contract. When you sign that deal with the publishing house, they get 85%.
Yep.
Okay? I get 15. So I started looking around at all these white cats in the room that were trying to get my book, and I was like, your white ass didn't lose no fucking weight. And I was like, you weren't out here fucking running with me. Like, so I went through the whole damn thing as I'm sitting there thinking, I'm gonna give you 85%, and I'm gonna get 15? I said, fuck you, man. So I didn't sign anything. Now, think about this. If you read Can't Hurt Me, the first 100 and some odd pages, I went from this loser's mentality to a guy that said, I made $12,000, I'm turning down $300,000. Yeah, my education still was lacking, but it paid off. So what I did was my agent fired me. He said, you're the dumbest guy in the world, you sell 5,000 copies of this book, you're dumb, you turned a great offer. He thought I wasn't going to do anything. It took, I think in the first month, the first 30 days, I made $2.4 million. And the government, government this shit.
What was the thing that took off? Was it a podcast interview? Was it someone saw you on TV? Or what was, if you break it down, that it factor that started that?
You know what? the reason why people didn't want to buy it, I'm going to get to that question because it's right. I have to tell you this. They said, who's going to want to buy a book, even though your story is great, about a black man that lost weight? He goes, 13% of the population of the world is black. So he's talking about audience is black. That's really fucked up.
And military, which is,
Yes.
I mean, a
Let's
small
go. So they did all this algorithm shit. I'm not an algorithm dude. I'm not God. What I knew was, yeah, well, I'm black. I got abused. My mom was abused. I couldn't read and write. And God, whoever made us, made me to a point that my story had no color. It translated into pain, into suffering, into overcoming obstacles. And every motherfucker in the world's gotta go through that shit. So it literally just melted, and there's not a chapter that someone can read and be like, wow, I resonate with that chapter. And that's what happened. So I can't tell you exactly what it was. It was the fact that my life encompassed a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of death, a lot of tragedy, a lot of hard times, a lot of failure, a lot of vulnerability. And I poured it out there. And I didn't care because the only way you can make someone better is not by pounding your chest and hey, I'm a bad dude up here. No. You gotta show them where you came from. And show them where you still go. And show them how low is, but how you climb out of hell to get to the top. And that's what I did.
I love you too.
You want just some push-ups? You know these damn push-ups.
So, you know, I spent $3.3 million US bettering myself from broke down today. And I heard some people snickering at the table. And it's got we're just waiting for motivation. And I've said this before, the way you are now is not good enough to get to where you are. It'd be no different if you were a basketball player and I had Phil Jackson, Coach Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I said, what was it about that? And he goes, these guys would have hired the best trainers. They would read everything about everything to try to get that micro edge. And instead of doing it one a day, they do 3 a day. And while everybody was relaxing, Michael was in the gym. He says, I need to get bigger. There's an obsession. And I didn't talk about that. There are people who want to be successful. These are people who just saw the David Goggins ad, read the book, they want to be successful, don't do anything. Right. Then there are people like you. You are committed, you are here, you want to be the best version of yourself. But for some reason, some of you are just going to leave out that door and you'll be like, that was a great talk, and tomorrow will be the same thing. And then there are people that are obsessed. And the obsessed is, I want to learn from that person. I want to do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I think you're obsessed. I'm obsessed. I think a lot of people we saw here today are obsessed.
Right.
What is your obsession at this point to continuously invest in yourself? You say you are your best asset, right? You keep investing in yourself. What is it that makes you obsessed?
Well, it changes all the time. But right now, I'm capitalizing on the weakness of the world. The mental world. This world right now we live in is the softest it's ever been. So I'm like, shit, man, I'm just picking up loose trash. I'm like, you motherfuckers don't want it? I got that shit. You don't want it? Okay, I got that shit. So I'm going through, just scraping up loose. Okay, see you, motherfucker, go home. I'm at the gym. So, or I'm working out late. I'm doing all these things because it's so easy right now, man. It's easy to be great nowadays. Everybody's so weak nowadays. So my obsession now is I'm looking around at 20, 30, 40. I'm 50 years old. I'm like, man, you guys are giving me the golden nugget. I can barely walk and run. I'm smoking all you motherfuckers in business and everything else because you don't have any drive or hunger. So I'm just taking it. Right now, while the getting is good, it's like when you're flipping houses and the economy is good to flip houses. You flip a lot of houses. I'm flipping the fuck out of houses right now, man. Because people just don't want it.
No, they're waiting until the media says, now it's time, and money is made. This is times like this where you double down on yourself. And that's what I said earlier today. I think people wait for people, and they're always worried about what things cost. And there is a cost to success. There is no such person who's ever just listened to something and went on to great things. At some point, you're gonna have to take a risk, right? Life is a risk. Everything's a risk.
Big risk. I mean, think about it. I go back to the same story. $1,000 a month. I put everything on David Goggins. everything, a guy who can't do anything, let's go be one of the baddest guys in the military. I put everything on me.
It's funny. I was negative 34,000 living in Chicago, moving from Canada, and I'm like probably 45 days from coming back. I got no money, I'm in debt, and I just worried about money so much that it wasn't coming. And if I just said, you know what, and this was flipping properties in Chicago, which you would know that is south side of Chicago too, right? I don't black people, I'm the only white person.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it was. And it was so funny. The minute I stopped worrying about money and just saying, what do I need to become better? And a lot of times, when I first was just listening to people, because everybody was like, buy this or do that. And I'm like, what do you want to do?
Yep.
And it was just listening. And I think at that point, authenticity, and that's why I think we've done very well done, authenticity, realness, because
you hit it.
Yeah.
You don't need to say another word. That's exactly it. That's exactly it, man. Like, I never thought of, yeah, if you don't mind. Thank God I caught that. Y'all know. That's why I came so fucking slow. So yeah, so authenticity, I never, ever worried about money. I worried about my authenticity. And that's why people also, they resonate with me because they can feel that. This dude is real. That's why I haven't taken sponsorship deals, man. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose who I am. That's all I care about.
I think you would understand. You'll never be David. You'll never be me. You need to be you. And you need to be the best version of you. Too many times we look at heroes, models, and coaches, which is very important to get knowledge and advice, but you gotta find your own fire. You know, there's three things: fear, fire, and permafrost. Fear is the thing that stops most people and sometimes burns that thing that's right here. And then you have that permafrost that sometimes when a fire burns off the fear, it melts the past. You know, you had a past that even when you became successful, did you go back and say, like, oh my God, I've gone so back and you know, kind of creep back sometimes thinking, because there's still things that are always unresolved and will always be unresolved. That's life, right? And so how did you deal with that creeping back? Because it's sometimes easy to be creep back to the dark side.
Right.
We all have the dark side.
So the big reason why I gained all the weight and I quit in the Air Force and everything else was I had to figure out what was stopping me. It wasn't so much me, it was how my mind thought. So I didn't see my dad. I left my dad when I was 8, went back, saw him every year until I was 12. My dad was the biggest problem that I had. And I put everything on him. So now I was 24 and I was fat and I was all messed up. I had to go back to the nucleus of the problem. Where is the problem with me? I went back there. I had to face that. And then from facing that, I was able to use that and then finally move forward. So for me, I had to go back in the past just to move forward in the future. A lot of us just want to scrape it under the rug and just start moving forward. It didn't happen, no, we're good. No, it fucking happened. And you need to fix it and fix it right. It's not permanent, but you need to fix it and then move forward.
And you need to fix it. You can't expect someone who doesn't know who you are in the inside, what really ticks you.
You have to fix it. No one can fix that.
I have to ask you, you got the book, and the book takes off. When did the speaking go from getting little gigs? I know you've sold out everywhere in America. You just sold out Australia, 4 cities. You've sold out here in Auckland. We couldn't sell any more tickets.
Right.
What was the turning point in the speaking? The first time, were you nervous, this and that, and then it didn't work out, you didn't like it as much, and then to now, like 3,000 amazing people, and this entire tour has been created in another country on the other side of the world, the impact you're making. What was the turning point in the speaking?
Well, to be honest with you, I hate doing this shit. Straight up. I'm nervous. I'm an introvert to come out here and tell you all I'm fucked up. Doesn't feel good. Honest to God. I'm not like, oh yeah, hey guys, no.
It feels better when you get paid for it.
It feels better, but once again, I don't give a fuck about that because I was good with $50,000. So this is just like, I hand so much money away, it's not even funny. It's a true story. So for me, the turning point was when I was in the military, I had 2 heart surgeries. So they pretty much disqualified me from being a Navy SEAL until I got that fixed. So they put me in recruiting. And I was the 36th African-American Navy SEAL to ever make it through in over 80 years. So they're like, man, we need more black people in the SEAL teams. So they sent me out to all the inner city kids. And I spoke to 500,000 young, in 1 year, black kids. I went to every black school, HBCUs, historically black colleges, all over the U.S. And I would get up there and start talking about being in the military. They were not interested in that. It was like people on their phones, talking, bullshitting, and I'm like, I have no engagement. So I thought to myself, fuck recruiting. I'm not trying to recruit these people anymore. I want to see these young men, there are a lot of women there too, be better people. So instead of talking about the fucking military, I talked about something they can all relate to, my fucked up childhood, and how I got to be who I am today. And everybody listened, and everybody took notes, and everybody paid attention, and everybody asked questions. So all I wanted to do was change people's lives versus sell you something. I wanted you to invest in yourself. I'm not trying to have you recruit and go be a Navy SEAL. Be a better person, and then from there, find out what you want to do. So I found a passion about wanting to help people out, and that became that. And then from there, it just snowballed in where I'm at now.
And what? Obviously, your confidence, world's toughest man, 300.
That's just the title someone gave me. Y'all say, I'll take this, I'm fucking up right now. Easy, people.
And so you still have doubts coming in here because are you afraid of being judged, or you don't like reliving the thing that you know no longer, and it's a constant reminder, even though at some point you're like, hey, I've moved on, I'm on to bigger, better things.
Right.
Is that what it is, or are you afraid? Because you say you don't care what people think, so
No.
it can't be like.
No, it's not that. What it is for me is that I am such an introvert, I'm very uncomfortable just being out here. Like, very uncomfortable. Like, I'm the guy who goes to the airport before I became me and finds the loneliest corner in the world just to be in it. Just to be at peace with myself.
How is that possible when the Navy SEALs is meant to be brotherhood, in trenches together, unit of one, and that brotherhood, and now you want to be a loner?
I've always been a loner, but it doesn't mean you can't be a good teammate. Like right now, I'm giving you guys all I can, my best. And that is what it's all about. So people want to be who they are. If you want to be who you are and who you're made to be, I should still be a fat, lazy piece of shit. But the world told me, and whatever told me, you're better than that. So to get any better, if I stay in that chair and never come out to speak to people, for some reason, thank you God or whatever, I've changed millions of people's lives.
And you're content.
And if I would have stayed in that chair mentally and never came out to share my story, there would be no more growth. So you can be a great teammate, you can be a great this, you can be a great that. Stop settling with what you were made to be. Be better than that. And that's what it's all about.
What? I think relationships is one of the most important things. When you spend time with is who you become.
Right.
What turns you on about people, and what is a turn off when you meet people?
The biggest turn off is when I see someone. This is the thing about it, man. I'm a human lie detector. I will tell you who I was. I know how fucked up people can be. I was once them. So when I see you or see somebody and they tell me their story about, man, I just can't do this, man. I'm already turned the fuck off.
There I can.
Already turned off because I wasn't the guy who came from the perfect house, who went to the private school. I lived in a $7 a month place. I had a broken mindset, a broken body, broken everything. So when people come up to me, you come up to the wrong person. The people I love are those people who want it like there's no tomorrow. And continue to grind and fail and fail and fail and fail. And I look at them like, what are you doing? I get back and try again, motherfucker. That fires me up. It's those people who have a thirst, a hunger that you just can't put out.
And that's something you can't put inside and you can't put out. You know when people got that fire within, it's really, really hard. And some people haven't discovered it because I think they have a mentality of being lazy. You know, you talk about failure, such an important thing. What do you think, you know, maybe in the recent, because we talked about the earlier failures, what do you think is one of the big failures that you've had recently? And what did you learn from that failure that now makes you better? It could be a business, it could be a life, or something you discovered that, you know, failure is good as long as you don't repeat it again. And I think that's the definition of insanity, you know, repeating the same mistake over and over. So tell me about a failure in your life that, or anything you did, and what did you learn from that failure that made you better?
It's not really failure, but it's on the same lines. It's mental and physical setback, which to me can be failure. So, these are my knees. All right? These are my knees. You see this right here? This right here got broken 3 fucking times in the last 18 months.
What?
Okay? So they had to break it, reset this fucking leg, and I'm gonna tell you a quick story. It's a long story, but I'll make it as quick as I can. So when I went in the military, the docs, luckily it wasn't a disqualifier. They're like, hey man, your body's all twisted, you're messed up, man, you shouldn't even go try to be a Navy SEAL because you're just not. I had a horrible alignment, twisted up. And what they think it came from was when I was in the womb, my mom was going through a lot of shit. So that toxic stress, that baby feels that. And then I came out, so my muscles were just fucking prying my body all over the place, okay? I was that fucking scared, like in the fetal position for the better part of 8 years of my life. I'm just getting beat with the belt. All right, that's done. Here we are now, I'm getting in the military, the doc looks at my body, sees my alignment, like, oh my God, like you're not gonna be able to get, you get stress fractures and shin splints and blah, 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 blah. He goes, why don't you just not do this route and do a job that's not gonna break you down because you're gonna be injured a lot. I decided to say, you know, go fuck yourself. You're not gonna do a good job. But in doing that, I paid the price. That's why in the book you read about me taping my legs up and I was going through training and blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on. When I got in the military, my body was completely rotated. And to get it back, I spent the last 18 months. I just had my last surgery, where you were at? 3 months ago? 3 months ago. So basically what they did was they went in, cut my leg, gave me HTO, high tibia osteotomy. They cut a wedge in my leg, basically broke it, reset the leg. It took 6 to 7 months for it to heal. I had to come back to its full strength, so I had to get back PT, get back to where I was able to run on it, and then guess what they did? Broke it again. Got to get back, full strength. Guess they did. Broke it again. So, can you imagine going through that kind of rehab and waking up every single morning with the right attitude to get after it? And I did every fucking morning. I did more than expected. And so, while it's not quitting something or facing something, this adversity I went through was the same way I've attacked everything in my life since I realized this is a test. The life that we live, and people don't understand this, it's a test. And if you are not showing up to the test prepared with the right minds, that's why everybody yelling here. We got to get ready for this test. Whatever test is in front of you, you got to be mentally prepared for that test. And so when the doc looked at me and said, you can have 18 months out, probably more than that, roger that, break the leg, let's go. That was my mentality.
And the issue is you can't have a negative and a positive thought at the same time. And so what happens is, people kind of go towards a negative, and you could have woken up feeling sorry for yourself and saying quit, but you're just like, you know what, I will fight back, I will fight back, I will fight back. And the same thing in business, another offer, another deal, another meeting, another phone call. And when you're tired, it's so easy to say, I'm gonna sleep in, or I'm gonna go out, or I'm gonna do this. I think the biggest problem today, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody wants to be successful, everybody wants to look good, everybody wants to be in shape, nobody wants to sacrifice. Talk about what you think is the biggest sacrifice you've made in your life to be the David Goggins you are today.
They want the life hack. and want their life hack. And there's no hacks, man.
There's no shortcut either.
There's no hacks. Like, the sacrifice I gave up for me was everything. I literally gave up everything to be who I am today. Because for you to shine that bright light on your husband, your wife, your kids, whoever's in your life, and then take that light further, you gotta pay the price. If you ain't willing to pay that price, no one's gonna get better. Because you're showing up every day, the same normal, everyday person that exists in this world, walking around. So you're not making anybody better. You're only making people better when you sacrifice yourself.
Is it worth it? Tell everybody here, is it worth it? Is the pain, the long days, the injuries, the ups and downs, the failures, when you stand here today, was it all worth it? Would you do it all over again?
Was it worth it? So people ask me one question, David Goggins, are you happy? I always answer this way, motherfucker, I ain't sad. So yes, it was worth it.
If you guys did a one-on-one with me or doing a one-on-one with me, if you can stand and you want to ask a question to David Goggins, for the mic runners can go to the people in the first few rows. We'll take some questions with David in a second. So just stand up. If you did a one-on-one with me and you want to ask a question to David, this is your shot. David, I take a look at what is your definition of success? I know everybody has a different definition of success, of what it is to do. Is yours measured in any kind of way financial? Like, do you now measure how much I get paid in proportion to how good I am at business, right? Because at the end of the day, people say money doesn't bring happiness, it sure makes life easy,
right? But
it's a measuring stick. How do you treat it like a game now?
No, I treat it as a feeling. Success for me is a feeling. Like, to me, money doesn't do it. For me, what does it is that reflection in the mirror. How do I feel today? So it's a feeling. And I'm constantly tracking that feeling.
How do you get good at business? Because I know you have mentors like Jesse Itzler and
he's not my mentor.
He's not your mentor? No. Oh.
No.
Is there a story I don't know?
No. The story is he's not my mentor.
Oh. Damn, well,
I keep my shit real, people. But nothing against them. Nothing against them.
Well, people.
But think about it. I self-published. He didn't self-publish. Yeah. Okay? How I made my money was by taking a risk on me. So I don't know many motherfuckers that did what I did. I wanted to be a trailblazer. Yeah. So being a trailblazer, what keeps you authentic is not taking somebody's shit and then re-fucking rapping it to make it your own shit. No. I took my own shit, rapped it, and then said, this is what you're gonna get. And there you go. So yeah, nothing against Jesse, but I'm firm on that, man. I made these decisions on my own. I financed myself. I did my own thing. I paid for me. I suffered for me. I did me. Period. Yeah.
I didn't know. I heard it.
Now you do.
Now I know.
And now all you motherfuckers know. Do you. Always. That's the best business advice you never had. Do you. Be authentic to who you are.
And by the way, I was going to say that Joe Rogan basically didn't listen to anybody get on his show and stuff like that. I know you've been on Joe Rogan, how big of a factor that was, and it seems to be a similar story. Like, I don't care whether you want me to interview him or not, there's that very similarities between you and Joe.
Yeah, Joe is, when I went on Joe Rogan, he was the Oprah of our time. Like, for some reason, like when I went on his show, it just resonated. And I don't know why, but that was one of the main moves. When I sat back thinking about self-publishing, I was like, you know what? People don't know me. And when I went on Joe Rogan, I went from like 100,000 followers to like 1 million followers. And then people started to know my story, but if it wasn't for Joe Rogan finding me, I didn't call him up. He found me and he called me up, hey man, you're fucking nuts. You wanna be on my show? I'm like, all right, let's do it, motherfucker, let's go. And so that right there was kind of the step off for people to start to know who I was. So I give Joe Rogan a lot of fucking props.
I don't think we talked about this. You have a beautiful, intelligent wife who handles a lot of her stuff, and you are this person that doesn't really seem to, like, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, I've seen men sacrifice because their spouse says, well, don't buy this or don't go there, or, you know what I mean? And they tell what it is. How have you been able to make your relationship work? And what advice do you have people, because a lot of them, you know, they call it sacrifice, but I always thought that marriage is a complementation of you get me, I'm you, I'll meet you at the top, but I need to be me. And I think there's too many people who give a piece of themselves and put their dreams and their aspirations and their success because they feel guilty that they do X. And there's a lot of women here, and a lot of men have a hard time handling women making more money than them, so they take their foot off the accelerator when they're capable of much more. I said this, women are far better at business than men, and I feel like we're in a sacrifice world. So what has been the key to this relationship that is wonderful, and maybe advice for everybody here who may be going through various stages of the relationship?
The first thing about me and Jennifer is that we're not married because we've both been married before, so we're going to say fuck that shit. I'm playing, marriage is good. But on a real note, we had a real conversation.
What was the real conversation?
The real conversation was I've been through a few marriages because I wanted to appease the person I was with.
Like I said,
I never really came forward and said, I'm a fucking dog. Like, there's some shit in me, man, that just has to be fed. But I came in with the mentality of, let me just be this guy that can make this work. Instead of having that real conversation with somebody that's mature enough to have and saying, look, this is me completely, my fucked up shit, this shit, all of this. This is David Goggins. And when you have that real conversation, you give them the right to leave, to stay, to go. So it started off with a real honest conversation about this is exactly the person I am. And that's what makes everything great right now, because people know what they're getting into versus say, you know what, I can make this work.
Can they undo it? Like go back and say, honey, dear husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, I know this one, but this is who I am, or is it too late and they gotta?
You can undo it, but it's hard because now you gave them, it's right, you gave them expectations. And now you're like, oh, I'm not really that guy. I thought, or that girl, I thought I could be that person for you. I can't. This is who I really am. Like, hey man, I've invested 5-6 years, and now this is not who you are. So it's best just to, from jump, say, this is me. If you don't like it, that's good. I got it. I'm out, and we can still be friends.
Speaking of friends, what does it take to be David Goggins' friends? Obviously, you are complicated. You do a lot of crazy shit. It's like you want to come with me, like, I don't feel like breaking through my legs 2 places today.
Right.
That's what I would say to myself. But what does it take to be a friend? I value friendship, loyalty, probably more than anything else. 24/7, 365. I think too many people are loyal to the opportunity. What does it take? Are your friends people back from the day? Do you have new friends? Do you have a small circle, big circle? What does it take to be a friend?
So I have a couple of friends. I have one for 41 years, since I was 8 years old. And that is like my real, true friend. But to be my friend, if I tell you I want to be a Navy SEAL, I want to be the next president, on those bad days, and I want to give up and quit, you don't let me. You remind me of why the fuck I'm here. You remind me of where I want to go. And that's all the criteria is. It's hard. Versus, I don't want somebody like, oh, it's okay. Go ahead and quit. You know what? We'll go get some beers and kick it and hang out. I don't want that as a friend. I want a friend to check my ass at all times to keep me on point. And I'm going to do the same for him or her. So that's just the criteria.
For the first 50 people who want to be Goggins' friends, you go to the table, there's a QR code.
Yeah, that might not work, that QR shit.
It's an inside joke between us and 3,000 people. David, I want to, we have a few minutes left. I want you to speak to the audience because, and by the way, you and I met a minute and a half backstage, right? And we got on here. First of all, what do you think? I purposely asked a lot of questions that I was curious about,
right.
And you weren't sure about staying the whole time, but I think time is just
good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Just energy. What do you think of the interview and the energy that's given, and you like that? Because we were locked in, and
right.
Like, what do you think when you go into these situations? A lot of people have the same question. What goes through your mind about, like, I want to be challenged, I want to be at the next level, I want to think differently? And I think a lot of you, what I'm pointing is when you deal with other successful people, always ask questions that they're not used to being asked. But not what you think they want, but what you're curious deep down to know.
Right.
So what ticks you when people ask questions?
Well, it's about them. When I'm up on stage, it's about them. And what I liked about it was it wasn't canned.
No.
You didn't email me some fucking questions. Say, these are the 25 questions I'm gonna ask you, and I can sit back and go through. I didn't know.
For the record, they did ask. I just didn't ask them.
Well, I love it. Because I didn't know.
I know, but it was Ken. It was like, well, how did you start? I'm like, I read the book.
There you go.
Right?
And a lot of people don't do that.
Nah, they don't really do that too. I read the book, and I don't know. I just think that this is a huge opportunity for us to have this speech here and have David inside our minds for the rest of our lives. And the realization is that, you know what? You can do it.
Yes.
You can do it. And when things are tough, just say, you know, what would David Goggins do? You know, I was sick. I lost my voice in Perth. I'm sick all day today. I swear to God, when I was not feeling well, I said to myself, David Goggins, he would go outside and run. Like, I literally, that was my mindset. Even though I never met you, you know, like 4 times in Australia, didn't meet you once.
Right.
I said, that's what he would do. Because quitting is never an option. Because once you push back it. So I want you to talk to the audience and give them the final message, something that will resonate with them. That you want to get out to the world and impart your legacy to the minds of so many young people here who always ask, you know, what would I do if I should start out? And older people say, how do I change, right? What would you tell them?
Well, the first thing, what's up? Someone said something.
He said he loves you.
Oh, I love you too. But the thing about what you just said is how I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered like you just said, like you didn't even know who I was.
No, never met.
But you knew
I knew you didn't quit.
he's going to get up and do this. If I wanted to leave a legacy behind on this generation, on the world, it'd be the fact that this guy, he failed, but he never quit.
And
He
you never
just
lose.
kept going forward.
You never lose until you quit.
Never lose till you
Never
quit.
let quit. You
So-
only lose when you say you quit. And that's why some of you have to leave here today saying, this has to be the beginning of a new life, a new me, and you have to reevaluate yourself. So, can we go to a couple questions in the audience too as well? I don't know, I can't see anybody because the lights are on our faces. Is there any questions?
Right here.
Okay, right there. Oh, but just ask the question. Don't tell us a life story about hey, I was born here.
Hello, how are you, Goggins? So my question is starting with, I know you are good friends with Louis House. I just wondering, what's the big lesson you learned from Louis House? And also, what's happiness for you personally?
All right, so Lewis House is a great dude. I've been interviewed by him several times. What I like most about him is he comes across really nice, really polite. When we did a conference together. And he said, hey guys, do not ask him and tell him these long-winded questions. He's the most upfront dude that I've met almost in my life. So don't let this smooth taste fool you. Lewis House is a dog, dude. He was cutting people off left and right. And the next question was what?
What's happiness for you personally?
Happiness for me is to see you be fucking much better than who I am.
Hi, excuse me, can I ask a question?
No, we're gonna go with this guy. You go second. You have the mic, I guess.
Listen, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. I was like, dude.
I mean, you had a mic in your motherfucking hand. And then you looked around and asked, can I ask a question? The mic's in your hand. Ask a fucking question.
No excuses, man.
Push-ups or some shit.
We got the push-ups. Now, the question for you, Goggins. I know you run for days, not hours, because I know
Oh,
you
you saw
on that 100%. What does David Goggins think about when he goes for a 205-mile run? What goes through David's mind at that time? Is it finishing the race? I'm curious about that.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. It goes like this. I fucking do not want to be doing this shit. That's at the start line. I'm cussing my whole crew out. Then the endorphins get going somewhere around mile 70. And they're like, okay, I'm deep into this thing now. Okay, it feels a little bit better. And then about mile 71, it goes away. But this is what happens. Why I do these races, what goes in my mind. So it took years for me to figure shit out. Years. Because you have to go through suffering, pain, failure, disappointment. Your mind's gonna process all of these things, right? When I put myself in these 300-mile races, 200-mile races, 250-mile races, I'm condensing 10 years into like 72 hours. Because I'm going through all these emotions. And I'm able to fight my way through all of these feelings. So what's going through my mind is like, I'm literally going through a 10-year period, but it's only taking me 72 hours because it's so stuffed and condensed into, I'm calcifying my motherfucking mind. And that's what starts to happen. But I'm out there and I'm like 70 miles, okay, I got 100 and some miles. Think about it. I'm at 71 miles of a 300-mile run. What is going through your fucking mind? I don't want to do this shit anymore. Let's call it a day. So I gotta process that. I gotta find all these different nuggets and tools just to get to the next aid station. And go to the next aid station. So that's what's going through my mind. I'm literally trying to condense that life and say, okay, but at the end of this, it's like a vision quest. You don't have any of the answers when you start. But once you finish, you have all the fucking answers. And that's why I do it.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, hi, my name is Nikolai. I wanted to ask one question. From what I can see, you used a bad thing in your life as source of power. But you reckon, is it sustainable to use bad thing in your life as source of power? Because we're aiming to live 85 years old, 90 years old. But if we always use that sort of bad things in our lives as source of power, can we live long life? Can we go like ultra marathon in our life? That's my question.
That's a great question. And you took the whole hour up here, totally fucked them wrong. Totally wrong. I use the energy that's given to me. Sometimes it's negative energy, sometimes it was my dad, sometimes it was people that called me nigger, sometimes it's my own self. But you can't live off of that. Right now I'm using the energy of this room. All these great people. That's the thing that people don't get about me. I always want to put something like, oh my God, you're so angry. I'm just cussing, motherfucker. I'm not angry. I wrote a book so people will be better than me. I wrote 2 books so people will be better than me. I'm getting energy from every email I read that says, I lost 100K. I lost 200K. I'm now a doctor, I'm now a lawyer, I'm now this, I'm now a great mom, a great dad because of your fucking book. So all I'm doing is reading that stuff and just tucking it in my soul. And when times get bad, it's not anger. It's Joe Blow that fucking did some powerful shit that made me fired up. So it's not just the energy of evil, it's the people's success that makes me fired the fuck up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to end now, but David still wants to answer your questions. Would you like to continue? So I'm going to turn over because I have to head back to America on a flight.
Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you. All right, next question. I don't have the mic, so I don't know how this even works.
Yeah.
David, hi.
How you
How do
doing?
you stay in discomfort? Like as humans, we're wired for comfort, and you constantly, and you talk about it in your books, switching off and craving discomfort. Are you rewired now? Have you rewired yourself, or do you have to keep rewiring yourself for discomfort?
What you just said about rewiring, like, you heard the first part of the story, right? Piece of shit kid. I had to totally rewire my brain. Because I found out that's where success is for me. When we stay in this comfort zone, it's so coined and so damn, I hate the comfort zone. Fuck that shit. But basically, I had to rewire my brain. It was short circuit. So back in the day, we had this little, like, these boxes, and you go in and you gotta get new fuses and shit. All mine were blown up. All mine in my hair were blown up. I had to literally go inside my brain. I had to. Not my mom, not my dad, not you all, not some inspirational Instagram shit. It was me alone saying, man, I am so fucking pathetic. You gotta be real. If people hate when I start talking, oh man, don't call yourself that. It was the truth. I'm sorry. If you can't call yourself out, you're never gonna be able to rewire your brain. And I said, okay, I want this. Put that new fuse in. I want this. Put the new fuse in. I want this. Put the new fuse in. Oh, this is fucked up. Boom. That one blew up here. Boom. I just started literally going through, I'm visualizing how it happened. And before I knew it, I started fighting pain with pain. And that became my new thing. I'm not going to give up. I want to be successful. I want to die. I want to be laying there the last 5 seconds of my life and smile. And someone says, why are you smiling? I'm so fucking proud of myself, is why. That's what I like.
Keep the questions quite snappy so we can get through as many as possible.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Me too.
And I just want to ask a question on behalf of everyone. Just giving a little context for the question. Everybody, sometimes it's hard. They ask questions on the surface level, and we don't know where to put. I've seen you say people that when we don't know where to put that discipline, if we don't know what we want to do, we can't put the discipline to anything else. So a question that I want to ask, and I have a very, very deep question that I've.
You better get to it, they're gonna cut you off, bro. I'm scared for you right now, man. This dude is in my ass, I feel it.
So my question is, you figured out your identity, you figured out who you are as a person, and I feel like if people here could figure out who they are as a person, then every other question would come into place. And if that's the question, like if you know who you are, and if people think they've figured out who they are, how do they know they've figured out who they are?
You said all that shit for that. And I don't even know what the fuck you talking about, man.
Can you see me afterwards, yeah?
What you said was perfect. You should have just stopped it because it was a statement. It wasn't a question. Once you figure out who you are, it's done. That's it. Figure out who you are. Shut the phones off, the computers off, shut all technology off, and figure out who you are. That was the secret to my success. Period. Oh, you got a bald head like me. Yeah, but it's like you losing your hair, dog. So am I, though. That's why my shit's bald, baby.
What went through your mind whilst going through Hell Week?
I went through my mind going through Hell Week?
How do you go through it?
Shit. I went through 3 of them, man. So which one you went with? Which one?
Probably number 2.
Okay, number 2. So what happened, so I went through 3 of them. On the first one, I was kind of like, what the hell am I doing here? 130 hours of continuous training, you get 2 hours of sleep and they beat the shit out of you. But then I asked myself, why am I thinking about what am I doing? I want to be here. So the second Hell Week came, and while everybody was thinking about why am I here, I was smiling and thinking I wouldn't want to fucking be anywhere else. And when I thought that, the water was never cold, the logs were never heavy, the boat didn't crush my neck, I didn't feel shit because I wanted to be there. It's those people who, when faced with adversity, their mind starts to trip the fuck out. That's when they quit. So for me, right now I'm getting happy as fuck, dude. Goggins is coming out because I feel it. Hair's growing in my head. I mean, kind of. That was it, man. I changed my mentality. I wanted to be there. That's all I thought about.
David, it's an honor to be here over here.
All right, then.
I just wanted to ask you.
Got it.
It's an honor to be here. I just wanted to ask you what your next greatest accomplishment will be, whether it's beating Strickland in the ring or helping people through speaking. Yeah.
Well, I have something I've been working on for 12 years, and I'm about 6 months away from it. and I cannot divulge it. Because I don't want to hear shit from anybody. I don't look on social media and be judged, why the fuck's your old ass doing that, and all kind of shit. So I'm like, keep it to myself. You want to be successful? Keep your dreams to yourself. Alright? Keep your dreams to yourself, my friend. Because everybody wants to tear you the fuck down. Alright?
Kia ora, David.
And also make sure people just get something out of what I'm doing in life.
Goggins,
Yes, sir.
we've got some awesome racing in this country, bro. I'd love to see you come run some ultras over here sometime. Is that on the cards?
Love it, man. Yes.
We got a good 200 miler down the South Island. It'll be good to come race against you.
Will do, man. I got probably about another 3 months or so, and I will definitely be rocking 200 milers shortly. Be careful what you ask for, my friend. I may be 50, but I'm still a motherfucking dog, baby. And guess what? Don't let the money fool you, baby. At nighttime, this dog goes in the deep fucking woods, and he chains himself up. He don't come home until the sun, baby. Appreciate it. I got a few 200-mile buckles. All right, who's next?
I got 2 more questions, then we're wrapping.
Kia ora, David. I'm Dalton. Okay. Only one thing makes my knees weak. It's my
It
daughter.
looks like you can fuck somebody up. You got that look like you can kick the fuck out of somebody's head in a minute.
Like I said, I'm Dalton. And I'm focused and I'm doing my thing. I'm running fast. Only one thing makes my knees weak. It is my daughter. I know you have a daughter. I've heard you speak about it. And you shed some light on that for me today.
Well, my situation is very different than yours. When she was 6 months old, me and her mom didn't work out. So there's a lot of poison in there. And I want to be honest, so you too. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it real, dude. And she says a bunch of stuff bad about me online, and her mom, dude. It's a battle. It's a battle. It's a lot of lies. But the thing about it, man, you have to continue to keep the faith. That's what it's all about, dude. Like, you can't control the other person. You can't control what's going on over there, man. It makes my knees weak too. But you have to be as strong as you can for when that day comes, you're ready, man. So that's all I can say. You can't control it.
My name's Nico. I'm a national bodybuilding champ and a national track athlete. My next goal is to crush it in the Royal New Zealand SAS training selection, which is a 10-week period. And I will do everything in my power to get it, but I have one thing. What do I do to unlock that mental lap? Like, what do I have to do?
Well,
I will do
last
everything
question,
in my
right?
power. Yes.
Get your motherfucking ass up here. Let's do it. In your hand. Where's that mic? Give me that mic. That's an X for you. It's put there just for you. Stand right in the middle of that motherfucker. There's 3,000 motherfuckers out here. Okay?
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's fucked up, isn't it? This is what I'm looking at all damn day. Yeah. Scary as fuck, right? Okay, fuck that. Check this out. This is what we're gonna do. You wanna be SAS, right?
Roger.
Okay. You need to tell these people out here what you want to do. Give them your handle. Give them your Instagram. You got an Instagram?
I do.
Let them all know. And make sure you track your progress. The pressure's hard. Because if you fail, you just told all these people out here.
That's right. That's right.
So now, with the same conviction,
Yeah.
so when times get dark,
Yeah.
you will remember this moment
This
right
very
here.
moment.
Okay, so look at them all and tell them with the same conviction over this little corner you're hiding in, that what you want to be in life.
I want to be the toughest man in the world.
And do what?
I do. And I'm going to do everything in my power. Nothing will stop me. I've faced so many challenges in my life. I've failed time and time again. There's been so many times where life has knocked me the fuck down. But what did I do? This man here inspired me to get back up and keep going. And now I'm going to be the